Good morning to all.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning. Yes, Srishti, we will have extra class.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. At 12
Ma'am,
yes,
today is an extra class, ma'am.
12:10. No? It is not extra. Actually, we have rescheduled our Friday class. No?
Okay.
So in the previous lectures, we have completed our iterative methods, means that we have done Gauss-Seidel, SOR, and Jacobi also. Means mainly we have done two methods only, Gauss-Seidel and SOR. So next we have one residual vector property here. Means if you have a system of linear equations and we are finding the approximate solution, so then we will find out the residual of that approximate and exact solution. Means this is the property, residual vector property. So it means if I'm taking a system of equation Ax is equal to B, so X is an exact solution. So this is an exact solution, and X cap we are taking as an approximate solution. So X cap is an approximation to the solution X of this system, and the residual vector is given by, that is denoted by R, and it is a difference of B minus Ax cap. So it is just, we can write it as a Ax also, because Ax is exactly equal to B. So Ax minus Ax cap. So if you find the difference of these two, then it will gives you R vector. So this has a property, this residual vector has a property that if norm of this, if it is not mentioned, whether it is an infinity norm or L2 norm, you always prefer infinity norm. So this norm is small, then this X minus X cap would also be small as well. Obviously, if you are taking a X cap, that is an approximate solution, and if this R, means if this is a good approximation, then R will always be small. Means if this is approaching to, means this is a good approximation, so then obviously we will say then R is our R is a vector actually. So how we compute R, means it is large or small, so we can compute by finding the norm of it, norm of a vector. So if norm is small, obviously if X cap is a good approximation, then we will say this is a small, and then it further implies then X exact solution and approximate solution difference would also be small. So this is our expectation, and this should true also. This should be true also. Means this is a residual vector property. If residual vector norm is small, then our approximate solution, means error between the approximate solution and exact solution, would also be small. But if I'm taking any system of equation, means and X is a exact solution for this system of equation, and X cap is a approximate solution, so it will be always be applicable, means this property will always be satisfied by any system of linear equation. So this we have to find out. Means first of all, we have a system of equation in which we will see this property is not satisfied. Means if R is small, means this will be small, then it is not imply that X minus X cap will also be small. So how this work? Means, but certain system fails to have this property. So this is a system, linear system, Ax is equal to B, given by this is A, this is X, this is B. This system has a unique solution, exact solution is given, this is exact solution. This is exact solution, 1, 1. So determine the residual vector for the poor approximation X cap 3 minus 0.0001. So it is saying it is a poor approximation. Obviously, we can see our X is 1, 1 and our X cap is 3. So 1, if it is a first component is 1, that is exact. Its approximate solution is 3. So obviously it can be a worst solution, or 1 can compared with minus 0.0001. So this is a poor approximation, obviously. So determine residual. Obviously, if you find the residual vector, it should also be very large. If you find the norm of R, then it should also be very large. But if you find its norm, what is residual vector here? This is R, which is B minus AX cap. So it is AX minus AX cap. So all are given to you, means X is given to you, X cap is given to you, and A is also given. So find out this 1, 2, 1.0001, then 2, then this is 1, 1, minus 1, 2, 1.0001, 2. And X cap is 3 minus 0.0001. Multiply these two, it will be 3. So it is 3.0001. Minus, if you multiply these two, it will be 1 into 3, then minus 0.0002. So it will be less than 3. It is 2.998. And it is 3 because it is 3.0003 minus 0.0002. So it is 3.0001. So ultimately you are getting 0.0002, then 0. So here you can see, means if you find the R here, suppose this is R, 0.0002, and with the positive sign, and this is also 0. So now find our norm of R. It is maximum of 0.0002, then 0. So it is 0.0002. So now find X minus X cap. So it is 1, 1.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, cap is so the previous slide.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ma'am, one more previous.
Yes. Previous slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Properties R is small, then this would be small. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So next, if I find X minus X cap minus 3 minus 0.0001. So it is minus 2, then it is 1.0001, because it will be positive now. So X minus X cap, no. So it is maximum of minus 2, then 1.0001. So it is 2. So 2 is very large number in numerical analysis if you are finding the error between exact solution and the approximate solution. So it is 2. So but our R norm is this. So it is not small. This is small. So this property is not satisfied by this system of linear equation that we have taken. A into X is equal to B. So now where is the problem here? Means this system is not satisfying this property. It means there is some problem in this system. So actually there is a problem in this matrix here, this A matrix. So A matrix is not satisfying any property, means one property, so that this system of linear equation is not satisfying this residual vector property here. So now what is that property? We will find out by finding the condition number of the matrix. Earlier we have found the condition number of a function. But now we have a condition number of a matrix here. So we can obtain this information by considering the norms of the matrix and its inverse. Actually, that is a condition number only. The condition number of the non-singular matrix, obviously we will find the condition number for a non-singular matrix only, in which we can find the inverse of a matrix. Relative to the maximum norm is, this is the notation, K of A is equal to norm of A into norm of A inverse. So we always go with the infinity norm. So it is just a multiplication of norm of A into norm of A inverse. So now how this condition number will gives you any information about that rational vector property. So first of all, we will find, we will have a...
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can we not combine these two multiplication of norms into one? No.
How means this we
Norm of A into A inverse.
No, actually this is not true, na? If you remember one property of norm, it is not equal. This is not equal, but this is true. Less than equal to norm of A into norm of B. So we cannot combine these two. Yes. Okay. So this can be norm of A into norm of A inverse. This is condition number. So now, if you remember in the first chapter, what we have done, we have denoted the condition number by kappa, means K also you can say, that the condition number was f dash x into x by f of x. And then we have taken mode also. This is the condition number for a function. And we say if K is near about to 1, means if it is less than 1 or near about to 1, then we can say condition number means that function is well conditioned. And if it is greater than 1, means far away from 1, then we say it is a ill conditioned problem. So this is well conditioned. Sorry. This is well conditioned. This is ill conditioned problem. So same is true for condition number also. But here our condition number for a matrix will always be greater than equal to 1. So means for any non-singular matrix A, the infinity norm that we can take infinity norm. So let us take 1. So now can you find the norm of identity matrix? So if I'm taking the identity matrix, suppose I'm taking 3 cross 3 matrix, 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. So find the norm of I, maximum norm. So this is 1 plus 0 plus 0 0
1.
Yes, it will be 1 always for any order of the matrix. So 0 plus 0, sorry, it is 1. So that will be 1 1 1 only, means that is a maximum of 1 1 1. So it is 1 only. So if you take any 2 cross 2 matrix, 4 cross 4, means any order of the identity matrix, that norm of infinity norm will always be 1. So that's why I have taken 1 is equal to infinity norm. Okay. So we know that I, identity matrix, can be written as a, because it is in the terms of norm. So A into A inverse we can write it. Means A into A inverse is exactly equal to identity. So that's why we can take identity is equal to A into A inverse. So now use this property A into B, norm of A into B is less than equal to norm of A into norm of B. So here we can write norm of A into norm of A inverse. So this is what, this is the condition number. So that's why condition number we have taken greater than equal to here, means less than equal to. So condition number of A will always be greater than equal to 1. So then well conditioned, ill conditioned problem will become when A matrix is well conditioned, if the condition number is close to 1, equal to 1, then or close to 1, that depending on the matrix how it close to 1, and is ill conditioned when it is significantly greater than 1, when it is very large, larger than 1. So then you will say the matrix is ill conditioned. So now we will check means this matrix that we have used in the system of linear equation. Is it well conditioned or ill conditioned? Actually, it is a ill conditioned problem. That's why this property is not satisfied by this system of linear equations. So our A matrix should be well conditioned, then only this residual vector property will be satisfied. So we will see this is well conditioned or ill conditioned problem. So let us check. Determine the condition number for this matrix. 1, 2, 1.000, and then 2. This is same matrix we have taken. So let this matrix is a A. 1, 2, 1.002. So then you find A inverse. A inverse, how to find A inverse of 2 or 2 cross 2 matrix? Just take its determinant. You can directly write the A inverse from the calculator also. So it is 2 minus 2.002. Then how to, it is easy to write the inverse of the matrix, means here we have to take adjoint of A matrix. So this is 2. Here you can write 2. This is minus 1.001. This is minus 2 and 1. Then you have to take transpose. So it is minus 0.0002. This you can skip also. You can directly write it from the calculator also. 2 minus 1.001, then minus 2 and 1. So at last you will get, if you divide by this number, it will be 2 by this number, it will be minus 10,000. 2 by this number, it will be positive 10,000. And this is 5,000.5. This is minus 5,000. So now find the condition number. Means that is norm of A into norm of A inverse. So find norm of A. This is maximum of 1 plus 2 and 1.001 plus 2. 3.001. So this is 3.001. And norm of A inverse, it is maximum of, I can write it directly, 20,000. 20,000 and 10,000.5. So 20,000. So implies kappa of A, means K of A will be 60,000. 2 means 60,002. Yes. So it is far greater than 1, obviously. So this matrix is ill conditioned. So that's why it has not satisfied that property. Okay. So here,
ma'am,
yes.
Like this matrix, we found out it is ill conditioned. So what does it mean?
This matrix,
that means like we can't apply Gauss-Seidel. Does it mean this, or will it give error?
No, actually, for the good approximation or poor approximation, we cannot say, means suppose we are finding the residual vector. So you cannot judge that X cap is a good approximation or poor approximation. We cannot trust our answers here. So that's why we have to check the condition number for a matrix. If it is well conditioned, then obviously if R will be small, then X cap will also be small. That will be our good approximation. It is not related with the Gauss-Seidel and XOR method.
So ma'am, we are trying to find out like up to what approximation we are getting a good answer. That thing we are trying to find out.
Yes, means suppose we are finding the residual vector. The residual vector means suppose we are finding because R is what? R is just B minus B cap. If B is AX here and B cap is what? It is AX cap. So if you are finding B here and then B cap, then if it is small, means right hand side entries difference is small, then obviously then if you are finding the any approximate solution from any method, Gauss seidel or SOR, suppose it is by any method, then this should also be small, no? Means it's obviously small cannot be measured by the from the vector, small can be measured by the norm only. So that's why we have to put norm also. So that is the only thing we have, means we have got any approximation from any method, that is our good approximation. Otherwise, suppose you have found the this approximation, so it can be poor approximation also. Means
Yes.
that should be related to each other, means R and X cap should be related to each other. So that's why we have to find out this condition number property, nothing else. Okay. So next is we have one result. This is the result actually. Here we will find out, means suppose we have exact solution and we have found the approximate solution also by any method. Then we have to find the maximum error bound in the absolute error. This is the absolute error, means absolute error. This is the maximum error bound for the absolute error in any approximation. And this is the relative error bound. This is bound. This is also a bound. So suppose that X cap is an approximation to the solution of AX is equal to B. A is a non-singular matrix and R is the result vector for X cap. Then for any natural norm, absolute error will always be less than equal to result vector norm into the matrix inverse norm. So this means if you find this number, because it is a norm here, so norm will gives you any real number. So that will gives you a one number that your approximation, your error in the approximation will not exceed by this number in the absolute error. And in the relative error, that will not exceed by this norm. Actually, this is nothing but you can replace it with K of A also. This is the result. Actually, this is the condition number. Na? So you can replace this number with kappa of A also, K of A also. So let us prove this. So here, what is result vector? Result vector is just B minus AX cap. It is just AX because B is exactly AX cap. So then R can be written as a into X minus X cap. So then it is A inverse R, which is equal to X minus X cap. So now this we can write it as a X minus X cap is equal to A inverse R. So norm of X minus X cap, which is equal to norm of A inverse into R. So both are matrices here because R is a vector, A inverse is also a matrix. So you can apply that property of norm A inverse into norm of R. So this we have to prove, means absolute error will not exceed by this number. So this is one we can write. So to find the relative error bound, so relative error bound we take B matrix, means B is equal to AX because it involves B also, B vector. So we take B is equal to AX. So taking norm both side, it will be A into X. This will be A into norm of X. So, but to find the relative error, we need X in the denominator. So let us take 1 by norm of X here, which is less than equal to norm of A by norm of B. This we can write it as a second. So now here you can write it, it is nothing but norm of X minus X cap. So by multiplying 1 and 2, you will get in the left hand side, you will get the relative error here, X minus X cap divided by norm of X. Then you have to multiply it by with the right hand side entries. So let us write multiplying 1 and 2. x minus x cap, then x, which will also be less than equal to norm of R, norm of A inverse, then norm of A by norm of B. So this is just K of A, because this is K of A into norm of R divided by norm of B. This we have to prove. So this is the relative error bound. Okay. Any doubt in this? So then you do this exercise. Estimate the condition number for the matrices, this matrix and this matrix. Then you have to find out whether these are well conditioned or ill conditioned. Okay. So next, our next topic is power method. This also you have to do. This is the approximation and you have to find the relative error bound. Relative error bound by that formula only. You have to remember that formula. This formula. You just find out norm of A inverse, norm of R and norm of B. Then you put it here only, you will get the relative error bound. Okay. So these two exercises you have to do. Now we come to our next topic, that is power method. Actually, we have already done, means we have already found the eigenvalues and eigenvector by analytic method. But here we will find out the eigenvalues and eigenvector by using the iterative method now. So suppose you have a matrix A. So how to find the eigenvalues of A matrix? Just you have to take lambda I x is equal to 0. So if any lambda and x satisfy this system of equation, then lambda is an eigenvalue and corresponding lambda, you have an eigenvector here. Okay. So basically it is nothing but Ax is equal to lambda x. This is the definition of the eigenvalues and eigenvector. So here lambda you have to find out and x you have to find out, and only A is given to you. Okay. So, but in the power method, this is the iterative method, is used to determine only dominant eigenvalue. Dominant means largest eigenvalue in magnitude only. Suppose you have a matrix A, it is 3 cross 3 matrix and it has an eigenvalue 1, 2 and -5. So by using the power method, you will find out only largest eigenvalue in magnitude, that is 5. So that will gives you 5 also, but not -5. So actually it is useful to find the rho of A, that is spectral radius of A, because this is nothing but maximum of the eigenvalues only. Okay, so how this is what is the procedure of our power method here? So this is the definition, means Ax is equal to lambda x here. So you have now, what is this definition? This is nothing but if you have a matrix, if you have a matrix A and you have a vector x here, you multiply both these two matrices. So what will you get in the right hand side? Means if you multiply these two, suppose it is n cross n matrix and x is n cross 1 vector. So this is a column vector. If you multiply both these two, so you will get a vector here that is n cross 1, because in the multiplication you will get this number of this and number of 1. So n cross 1 means column vector you will get it. And but in the definition you want lambda x, and this x should also be same. So how is it possible to get this lambda x from this y vector? So what you do, this is y1, this is y2, y3 and so on up to yn. So we are finding the largest eigenvalue. So pick up the largest number from from the magnitude from y vector. So let us, this is k, this is k1. Then remaining vector will be y1 by k1, y2 by k1, and so on up to yn by k1. So what it is? So I claim that this should be my x, means this should be my x, but it is also not necessary this should be x. So what I do, I will, because it is a iterative method, so I will take a first approximation. This is the initial guess. Initial guess will be given to you. A will be given to you. Multiply just in A matrix and initial guess. So then I will get one vector y1. Then I will take largest element common from that vector, and I claim that this x0 and this vector will be equal, would be equal. But if it is not equal, then I will call it is my first iteration. And this should be equal actually. So we will trying to find out more iteration to get these are equal, nearly equal, not exactly equal you will get. So ax1. So again, I will take this ax1 here, means in place of initial vector, we will place x1 here. So then I will get y2. So now it is y here, elements will also change. y1 to yn2. So again, I take k2, means largest element common. From this, it will be y12 by k2 by k2 and so on up to yn2 by k2. So this will be k2. Now here you can see this is the eigenvalue also. This I will claim that it is eigenvalue and this is the eigenvector. So we are finding eigenvalues as well as a vector together. This is x2. So now if so I claim that this is x1, but if it is not x1, I will say it is a second iteration. So then again I will take ax2, then it will gives you y3. Then I will take largest element common in magnitude from y3 vector. Then it will gives you the eigenvalue, that is a third iteration of the eigenvalue, and that remaining vector will be my third iteration of the vector. So again I will do this. So stopping criteria, what is the stopping criteria here? So here you have to take kn minus 1, because these are the real numbers. So tolerance will also be given to you. This should be less than your tolerance. And also you check xn minus 1 is less than your tolerance. These are vector, so we have to put norm here. So these are just real number. You have to take absolute value only, absolute error only. But here you have to take norm. This should be less than your tolerance. The same tolerance will be applied. Okay, so some books only write the stopping criteria would be on the real number, on the eigenvalues only. But you have to check both of it, because sometimes eigenvalue difference is less than tolerance, but this will not be achieved. And sometimes this is achieved, but eigenvalues are different, means it is not less than your tolerance. So it is better if you check both of it, means eigenvalues difference and as well as eigenvector difference also. Both should be less than your tolerance. So then if you got this, means if it is less than your tolerance, then kn will be your eigenvalue and xn will be your corresponding eigenvector. Okay, so then this is the procedure. Means initially A will be given to you. These are given. X0 will be given, and tolerance will be given to you. These all will be given to you. So what you have to do, you take these two matrices, multiply these two, you will get one vector. You take largest element common in magnitude, then remaining vector will be your x1. So then to write the second iteration, it is you have to take care. Don't multiply it with y1. You have to multiply with x1. That is a remaining vector after taking the largest element common. So this is x1, you have to multiply it. Then after multiplying, you will get y2 vector. Again, you take largest element common. Then again, you will get remaining vector as a second iteration. Then again, you multiply it. Again, you will get vector. Again, you take largest element common in magnitude. So this is the procedure. And stopping criteria will be same, that eigenvalues difference should be less than tolerance and vector difference should also be less than your tolerance. So let us do one example. If we are able to do this power method, means power method example, obviously we will able to do, then no need to take an extra class. Okay, so let us finish it. So determine the largest eigenvalue and the corresponding eigenvector of the following matrix correct to one decimal using the power method with x naught is equal to 1, 0, 0. So you have to find the largest eigenvalue and corresponding eigenvector of the following matrix correct up to one decimal. One decimal means you have to take the tolerance is equal to 10 raised to power minus 1 only. Using the power method, x naught is equal to 1, 0, 0, and this is the matrix. Okay. So let us take A. So apply power method. So let us take Ax naught. A is 1, minus 1, 0, minus 2, 4, minus 2, 0, minus 1, 2. Sorry, 2. So then you take 1, 0, 0. So after multiplying, it is 1, it is minus 2, then 0. So this is your y1 here. So let us take magnitude, largest element in magnitude common. So it will be 1 by 2, minus 1, 0. So this is nothing but 0.5, minus 1, 0. So this you can write it as a lambda 1 x1. You can take x1 also, k1 also, a lambda 1 x1. It means this is my first iteration of eigenvalue and this is my first iteration of eigenvector. So again I'm multiplying by ax1. So this is nothing but 1, minus 1, 0, minus 2, 4, minus 2, 0, minus 1, 2. Then x1 vector, it is 0.5, minus 1, 0. Multiplying these two, it will give you y2. So that is 0.5, 1. So it is 1.5 minus 1 minus 4. It is minus 5, 0, 1. So 5 is largest number. 1.5 by 5, it is 0.3. Then minus 1, then it is 0.2. So this is lambda 2 x2. So here you can see the difference also. Lambda 1 minus lambda 2 is not less than your tolerance. So if it is not less than your tolerance, no need to check x1 or x2 also, because we cannot stop it here only. So then ax2. So ax2 is again 1, minus 1, 0.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you please share the previous slide?
Yes, yes, sure. 0, minus 1, 2. Yes. Here also you can check it, x2 minus x1. It is also not less than 10 tolerance, because first element difference is 0.2 and third difference is also 0.2. It is not less than your tolerance.
मैम दोनों की टॉलरेंस 10⁻⁻1 दी हुई है ना?
Yes, दोनों की मतलब एक ही गिवन होगी, but you have to take same tolerance for all, for both.
Okay, ma'am.
So x2 is 0.3 minus 1, 0.3 minus 1.2. So it is, after multiplying you will get 1.3 minus 5, then 1.4. So here you are getting 5. 1 by 3 divided by this 0.26 minus 1.28. So this is lambda 3x3. So is it okay? Means lambda 2 is exactly 5. Lambda 3 is also exactly 5. It is less than your tolerance. That is okay. That is correct. x3 For x2, you can take x2 minus x3, this difference. So you can see x2 is 0.3. 0.3 minus 0.26. It is less than 0.1. And minus 1, second element is minus 1 and minus 1. It is also 0. And 0.2 and 0.2, it is also less than 1. So means all the components are less than your tolerance. The largest in all will also be less than your tolerance. So this is less than your tolerance. This you know now, means how to check this norm. Maximum of 0.26 minus 0.3, then minus 1 plus 1, then 0.28 minus 0.2. So pick up the largest difference. It should be less than your tolerance. Obviously, that it is possible when all the differences are less than your tolerance. So if this is true, it means lambda 3, that is 5, is your eigenvalue, that is required eigenvalue, and lambda 3 is a 0.26 minus 1.28 is the corresponding eigenvector. This is the eigenvector. It is not the eigenvector. This is the eigenvector. Okay. So if you want to verify your answer, you can write, means AX3 should be equal to 5 into X3, means to verify your answer. Okay. So this question you can try in the exercise. Using the power method to approximate the most dominant eigenvalue of the matrix until a tolerance of 10 raised by minus 1 is achieved with this this initial guess, and this is the matrix. And question can also come like perform 4 or 5 iterations of power method. Then no need to take the accuracy in that case. You have to perform only 5 iteration. So 5 iteration with the initial guess and the matrix. Only matrix and initial guess will be given to you in that case. So also if it is the question that perform 5 iterations, suppose. So x naught is your 0 iteration, means after finding ax naught, that will be your first iteration. Means some students like they count this iteration also. This is not a iteration in count. If you have to perform 5 iteration, it means we have performed 3 iteration here. 1, full 2, then it is 3. So this is the 3 iteration. These are the 3 iterations. Actually x3 vectors are 4, but the iterations are 3 here. So this you can take care. Okay, any doubt in the power method? So shall we take the extra class? Means actually syllabus is up to the power method for the sessional 2. Power method and inverse power method, that is we can do in the next lecture.
Ma'am, is it possible to do some mixed questions because this chapter is very vast?
Mixed question
Like,
for?
Ma'am, this linear system of linear
system.
equations.
Okay, means you want any question?
Random
question on Gauss-Seidel SOR, and
yes,
then its condition. Yeah, okay, we can do. We can take one assignment, then we can pick that question from there only.
Okay.
Okay. So shall we take this lecture? We have a 2 lecture in this week, na? More 2 lecture. Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Friday. Friday, no, we don't have any lecture. Okay. So what should we do? So can we take half an hour lecture today? Means I will finish inverse power method. Then in the next lecture, we can take your problem on this chapter. Is it fine? Or we can complete it in one lecture only?
मैं नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में कर लेंगे मैम।
नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम। आज मैम वैसे भी मैम बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, like वाइवा वगैरह भी था आज मैम।
okay, so I will finish it in half an hour, means inverse power method in half an hour, then 20 minutes for the that exercise. ठीक है?
ओके मैम, थैंक यू मैम।
Okay, thank you. ठीक है, no lecture for today more. Okay.